Welcome to our top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis. My name is JC De Guzman. Today is Thursday, March 14, 2019. These are the top 5 gainers and the top 5 losers that I'll be talking about today. Let's begin with the top 5 gainers. I have Green, SECB, MEG, SEC, and finally DMC. For the top 5 losers, I'll be talking about FB, FGEN, MWC, BHI, NIKL. Okay, so let's begin with green. Before we talk about the chart of green, let's see first if any of these stocks have any dividend announcements. So 0 for green. Now let's check on the chart. Green closed today at 2.60. I think I already talked about green in yesterday's video. Yes, I did. Green was in the top losers list yesterday as well. If you watched that video and if you still remember what I said in that video, I mentioned there that you should monitor green near 2.34. And if you see a reversal of sentiment when the price inches closer to 2.34 with volume, it could be an invitation for you to do a test buy. And that really happened today, right? It hit 2.34. There is a reversal on the volume from bearish to bullish volume. I do hope you were able to add a green in your watch list and you were able to enter a new position when it hit 2.34, at least a test buy. Okay, so there you go. The resistance is still at 2.90. Support is at 2.34. Those are the immediate support and resistance levels. Today's volume is above its 10-day volume average in support to the bullish price action. Anyway, it's still nonetheless the price is still below the 10-day simple moving average. MACD remains below the signal line. Of course, we cannot expect green. We cannot expect these other indicators to reverse their position with this single day green candlestick. Green needs to register more green candlesticks for these other indicators to reverse their positions. Okay, so there you go for green. Let's check the volume that got the biggest, the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades. Remember, it closed today at 2.60. It's up by 6.12%. It registered a net foreign buying worth 4 million pesos, almost 4 million pesos. And then this is the range that we need to monitor. Okay, since the price closed at 2.60 and that's very close to its intraday high, therefore I'm going to mention the range between 2.54 all the way to 2.60. 2.54 to 2.60. That range got the biggest volume, cumulatively speaking, and the highest number of trades, cumulatively speaking as well. Okay, my overall sentiment on green is neutral to bullish. Okay, neutral to bullish. If you already have a position on green, let's say you entered a position near 2.34 when it hit that low, I hope you already know by now that you should proactively calculate your trailing stop loss so that you're fine just in case things go south. Okay, if you don't have a position yet, let's say you were not able to monitor green for whatever reason, you can still do a test buy within that range that I gave a while back. Okay, do a test buy, continue to monitor the stock. Okay, so that's it for green. Let's move on to the next one. We have SECB. Let's check if I already covered SECB in the previous videos. I did, but that was way back March 7. Okay, so let's check also if it has new dividend announcements for 2019. Okay, by the way, let's also find out if SECB is in our investment guide for long-term investing. Yes, it is. It has a buy rating with an upside potential of 75%. Okay. SECB does not have new dividend announcements for 2019 yet. So today SECB closed at 170 pesos and 50 centavos. I'm going to plot its support and resistance levels anew. Okay, here you go. So I have plotted the immediate and the major support and resistance levels of SECB. Immediate support is at 160.30, immediate resistance is at 181.20. Green, it's a green candlestick for SECB today, and this green candlestick is supported with a strong bullish volume registered above its 10-day volume average. Take note that SECB is still below the 200-day SMA. If you have a SECB, you would want to see the price break out above 81.20, because when that happens, the price will have regained its position above the 200-day SMA, and hopefully by that time, the 10 SMA is already moving above the 50 SMA. Now, for us to see these moving averages in a perfect bullish alignment, SECB needs to draw closer to the major resistance near 213 pesos per share. Okay. MACD is already bullish. It helps that SECB maintain its position above the 10 SMA for the past few trading days. Okay. And the SECB has a low risk level with a volatility score of 32%. Its year-to-date net foreign status is at net foreign selling still. Okay. Now let's take a look at the price volume review for SECB. It closed today with the net foreign selling worth 49 million pesos. It's a net foreign selling. Okay. It closed at 170.50. Now the range that got the biggest volume that in the highest number of trades is between 170 all the way to 170.50. Again, that's 170 to 170.50. You can extend that all the way to 171, because 171, the price point itself, got 11% of today's volume with 73 trades. Okay, again, 170 to 170.50, and it can be adjusted all the way to 171. My overall sentiment on SECB remains bullish, with the possibility for it to just trade the range between 160 to 181.20. Okay, remember that possibility. If you don't have a position yet, you can do a test buy. You can do a test buy on SECB within that range that I've given you. If you already have a position, make sure that you know where your trailing stop loss is. Okay. Alright, so that's it for Security Bank. Now let's check the other one. The next one, we have Megaworld. Does it have, let's check if it has new dividend announcements already. And let's also check if I already discussed this Megaworld in the past few days. Okay, this is the first time that I'm going to talk about Meg. Okay, so Megaworld Corporation has no dividend announcements yet for 2019. Okay, so let me just remove these ones, these callouts, and then let me plot the major support and resistance levels for Megaworld. Okay, here you go. Let me plot one more here. There you go. So the immediate support for Megaworld is near 5.06, and the immediate resistance is near 5.54. Should it break out above 5.54, that will make 5.86 as its next resistance. Now if it breaks down below 5.06, the immediate support will then become 4.25, but I would say there's a midterm support between the two, between 5.06 and 4.25. And where is it? I'm going to put it here at 4.59. Why so? Because that's the intersection between the 50 and the 200-day SMA. Because historically speaking, that can be considered as a historical support as well. Okay. Now, Megaworld is moving in a perfect bullish position since the price is above the 10 SMA, and the shorter term ones, the shorter term moving averages are all above the longer term moving averages. Today's volume is bullish as well. It's almost above, if not already above, its 10-day volume average. And I think it's also a net foreign buying worth 48, almost 49 million pesos worth of net foreign buying today. MACD maintains its bullish position above the signal line. Megaworld it maintains its low risk level because it still has a historical volatility of 29%. Now let's take a look at the volume review for Megaworld. It closed today, remember, at 5.53. It's up by 2.22%. And the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades is between 5.43, 5.43 all the way to 5.53. Okay, that range. Again, 5.43 to 5.53. Okay, so you need to position there. Okay, and my overall sentiment for Megaworld remains bullish. Let's find out, by the way, if it's in our investment guide for long-term investing. Yes, it is, and still has a buy rating. It still has an upside potential of almost 27%. Okay, I repeat, my overall sentiment is bullish. And if you already have a position, let's say you've been following our investment guide for long-term investing, make sure that you are updated on the position of your trailing stop loss. If you don't have a position yet, I suggest that it makes sense based on the data that I've seen that you can do a test buy in tranches for Megaworld. Okay, so that's it for Megaworld. Now let's move on to the next one. We have SCC. Let me check as well if I already discussed SCC in the past. It does not sound too familiar to me, so it's possible that I haven't covered SCC. Oh, I did. Last March 1 and March 4. During those days, SCC was in the top losers list. Now it's in the top gainers list. Okay, so all right. Now let's check if it has some dividend announcements. Nothing yet for 2019. So let's talk about the chart of SCC. SCC closed today at 21 pesos per share. 21 pesos per share. Take a look at this one. It seems that there's a support level that has been created here near 19.9. Yeah, 19. Was it 19.9 or 19.8? 19.8. Let me adjust this one. 19.8. There you go. There's a support that has been there has been a support there's a support level that has been formed within this level, 19.8, and it managed to respect that level. That's why it bounced away every time the price hits that level. Now it's at 21 pesos per share, and it recovered its position above the 10-day simple moving average. However, SCC is still in a bearish position as far as long-term scale is concerned. Even in the midterm and long-term scales, SCC is bearish. So if the price, I think if the SCC traders will get tired, even when they get tired of maintaining this price above the 19.8 level, your next support then will become 17.98 or 18 pesos per share, which is in confluence with the 161.8% Fibonacci retracement. Okay, so watch out for this level. It's very important, this 19.80 level here. If it breaks down here, catch it at 18. If it maintains its position above 19.8, look for volume. If you see a strong volume in support to the green candlestick, then SCC is on its way to revisiting the previous resistance levels. Okay, so today's net foreign trade is 13 million pesos. It's a net foreign buying. MACD has already started to, I think if SCC will close tomorrow on a strong note, in favor of the bulls, we will see MACD moving above the signal line. SEC has a moderate risk level due to its volatility score of 58% rather. Okay, that's it. Now let's take a look at the volume review. So SEC, remember, it closed at 21 pesos per share. It's close to the intraday high. So here it is. The range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades is between 21 pesos all the way to 21.20. Again, 21 to 21.20. Now, if in case SEC will start on a weak note on Friday, tomorrow, you can adjust your waiting period near 20.15. Okay, 20.15. It got 17%, almost 18% of today's volume with about 175 trades, 20.15. Okay, again, if it starts on a green, if it will show a green start tomorrow, the range that you need to watch out for is between 21 to 21.20. If it starts on a weaker note, then adjust your waiting period near 20.15. My overall sentiment for SEC is neutral to bullish. If you don't have a position yet, I would say you can actually do a test buy within those ranges that I've mentioned. Okay, one is just a specific price point, the other one is a range, right? Okay, if you don't have, if you already have a position on SEC, I think you should have not. I think you should have cut your losses already. I think so because SEC has been in a downtrend channel since when? Since August 2017. Okay. I hope none of you is still holding his or her position. Let's say you bought last 2017. I do hope none of you still holding your position when you bought around August 2017. All right. That's it for SEC. Now let's talk about DMC. Okay, for DMC, let's take a look at the dividend announcements. No dividend announcements yet for 2019. Okay. Today, DMC closed at 11 pesos and 90 centavos. Before I proceed, I'd like to know if I already talked about DMC in the past. Yes, I did. Last February 28 and March 11. It was, during that time, it was in the top 5 losers list. But now it's in the top 5 gainers list. Okay, let's check what has changed. Okay, a midterm support has been formed as well for in the past few days over here around 11.10 or 11.14, and it managed to rise above that level with strong volume. Okay, this is good, especially for those who have been trading DMC. Okay, what you would want to see now is a lot bigger volume if you would like to see the price of DMC to move higher and to break out from the resistance at 11.9. Okay. Otherwise, if it will not showcase a bigger volume tomorrow, especially tomorrow, then we might see DMC just, trading the range between 11.10 and 11.9. Okay. The net foreign trade for 2019 is net foreign selling, and today it's an insignificant amount of 246,000 pesos worth of net foreign buying. MACD is still bullish. Partly that's influenced by this tall green candlestick today. Okay, and DMC still maintains its low risk level since it has a volatility score of 47%. Okay, major resistance. If it breaks out above 11.9, 13.8 will become its major resistance. If it breaks down below 11.14, 9.88 will be its major support. Now let's take a look at the price volume distribution. Remember, DMC closed at 11.90 today. Okay, and that's its intraday high as well. Okay, so the range that I'm going to give you is between 11.6 to 11.90. It's quite a wide range. Okay, it's quite a wide range but that's the area actually that got the biggest volume that and the highest number of trades. You can take a look at here. You can take a look at it over here. Again, that's 11.60 to 11.90. My overall sentiment on DMC is neutral to bullish this time because of this midterm support at 11.14 has been respected. It's you can do a test buy within that range that I've given you. Okay. Now, if you already have a position on DMC, you already know what I'm going to tell you. Be aware where your trailing stop loss is. Okay. Every single day I've been telling you about this trailing stop loss. By now, I am hoping that I have marinated your minds already about this trailing stop loss thingy. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. So we're now on the top 5 losers, beginning with FB. And I think I've discussed FB a lot in the past few days. Oh yeah, this is the 6th time that I'm going to talk about FB since the day that we started recording this video. Top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis. Okay. The last time that I talked about FB was in February 11. It was in the top 5 gainers list that time. Now it's the number 1 top 5 loser based on the size of total traded value. It has the biggest total traded value among the top losers today. Okay, let's check if San Miguel Food and Beverage has new dividend announcements for 2019. Apparently, there's none yet. Okay. FB closed today at 104 pesos and 10 centavo. It's now at the brink of testing the support level at 104 pesos. If it breaks down below 104 pesos, 98.60 will become the support that we're going to monitor. Today's descent in price came with the bearish volume that's above its 10-day volume average, meaning to say FB traders today they were actually convinced that there's a need to sell. Maybe they have seen also what we're seeing right now, for sure, especially the experienced ones. Okay, so today's net foreign trade is actually an insignificant amount worth 3,000 pesos. 3,000 pesos worth of 3 million pesos rather, 3 million pesos worth of net foreign selling. MACD is already poised to cross below the signal line, and that's not the signal line that we need to see if we are hunting for confirmed buy entries. Okay, FB has a low risk level with a volatility score of 42%. Okay, what you want to see here is for the support to be respected at 104 pesos. Otherwise, if it will not bounce away, the descent in price will more likely to continue and test the support near 98.60. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the price volume analysis for FB. Remember, it closed today at 104 pesos and 10 centavo. And that is actually its near the intraday low for today. The intraday low for today is 103.20. Intraday high is 106.90. The range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades is between 104 all the way to 104 all the way to 105. 104 all the way to 105.10, which can be extended until 105.50 or 105.40. Okay, again, that's 104 all the way to 105.50. 104 to 105.50. Yep, that's the range. However, I am not recommending that you should buy right away within that level. You should continue monitoring the price movement because of the possibility of seeing FB below 104. Okay, so my overall sentiment on FB is bearish. My recommendation is to wait near 98.60. Do not rush. And should you decide to enter a new position at your own judgment, make sure that you already know where your trailing stop loss is even before you buy some shares. Okay. So that's it for FB. Now let's move on to FGEN. Sounds familiar. It seems like I've just talked about FGEN. Uh, if not yesterday, it could be a few days ago. So let's confirm. FGEN. Oh yeah, I just talked about FGEN yesterday, but yesterday it was in the top five gainers list. Now it's in the top five losers list. Okay, let's check first if it has some dividend announcements for 2019, of course. So none yet so far. So let's talk about the chart. Today FGEN closed at 20.85. It did not. It was unsuccessful to regain its position above the 10-day SMA. Now it's below the 20. It's now below the 10-day SMA, and it might test the position of the 50-day SMA. Currently, 50 SMA is at 20.75. Okay, it's just 10 centavo away from breaking down below the 50 SMA, this red line here. So in a way, we can say that this position of the 50 SMA is also serving as a support level. Okay, therefore, if it breaks down below 20.6 tomorrow, then we can expect the price. We should wait near 19.40 then when that happens. Okay, resistance is at 22.5. So today's red candlestick came with a strong bearish volume, obviously above its 10-day volume average, and foreign investors also sold about 70.28 million pesos worth of net foreign selling today. Of course, what do you expect? MACD will continue its descent below the signal line. Risk level wise, FGEN already has a moderate risk level because of its volatility score of 51%. Okay, now let's take a look at the volume review for FGEN. It closed today at 20.85. Intraday low is at 20.50. Intraday high is at 21.50. This is the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades. Take a note of this one, please. It's 20.65 all the way to 21 pesos. Again, 20.65 to 21 pesos. My overall sentiment on FGEN is bearish. My suggestion is that you don't rush in entering a new position near 20.60. If it's already too close to 20.60 and you still see some demand to sell the stock even lower, postpone your idea to buy to enter a new position, and then you should continue monitoring the price near 19.40. Okay, always monitor not only the price, not only the candlesticks, but also the volume. That's very important. Okay, so that's it for FGEN. Now let's move on to Manila Water Corporation. The news is all over in Manila, right? Water shortage. Now let's check if it has some dividend announcements. Did I already talk about MWC in the past? Nope, this is the first time. Okay, let's see. Okay, no, it has no future dividend announcements. It had one, but it had an ex-dividend date of March 11, 2019. It's finished already. It's done. Okay, so today MWC closed at 26 pesos per share. It broke below the previous support, which is now its resistance, at 26.40. So the acting support now is at 25 pesos per share. Okay, and today's long red candlestick came out with a long red volume bar as well, and I think it's 4 times, if not 5 times higher than its 10-day volume average. But take a look at this one. Here's the irony of this. The descent in price was translated as an opportunity for the foreign investors to buy back what the local investors have vomited today. They bought nearly 52 million pesos worth of MWC. Okay. Well, you know what? Foreign investors, especially those who are following the advice, pieces of advice of institutional brokers, they actually they have a certain threshold whereby um, they will really buy when certain support levels are broken. That's how they do it. They don't think like how retail traders think. You get what I'm saying? Okay, that's how they do it. Sometimes they act as a contrarian. As long as those support levels have been hit, then they will buy. Okay, MACD is bearish and it has a risk level of low risk level because of its volatility score of 28%. Okay, um, let's talk about the volume review. MWC closed today at 26 pesos. The intraday low was 25.5. Intraday high was 27. And here's the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades. Cumulatively speaking, again, okay, it's 25.9 to 26. Again, 25.9 to 26. My overall sentiment on MWC is bearish. My recommendation is don't rush to buy in your 26. Try to wait some more. If the price continues to go down tomorrow, especially it's a Friday, see if there's a bigger probability for the price to touch 25 pesos. When it hits 25, don't buy right away again. You need to reevaluate your situation. If there are signs of a bullish reversal, if there are signs of reversal, SORs, that's when you need to do a test buy. Okay? But for now, don't rush. Continue to monitor. Once it hits, once it draws closer to 25 pesos per share, you reevaluate the situation. See if there are some signals that that can serve as evidences of a weakening appetite to continue selling MWC. That's when you enter a new position in tranches. Okay, so that's it for MWC. Now let's talk about BHI. Looks like I already talked about BHI in the past as well. So let me double check. Oh yes, this is the fourth time that I've been talking about BHI. It was discussed in yesterday's video as well, but during that time BHI was the number 5 top gainer, okay, based on total traded value. Now it's the number 4 top loser, based again on total traded value. Now let's take a look at if it has some dividend announcements. No, nothing for 2019 yet. BHI closed at 0.075 today. Immediate resistance is at 0.08. Immediate support is at 0.065. While the price is already still above the 10 simple moving averages and the SMAs, the shorter term SMAs are above the longer term ones. Today's red candlestick came with the red volume bar as well, and it's above the 10-day volume average. It has a volatility score of 92%, which makes it to have a high risk level already. Okay. Now the net foreign trade for 2019 is more or less net foreign selling. Yeah, more or less net foreign selling for 2019 year to date. There's a possibility for the price to test the support here. Let me plot this line somewhere there, 0.07. If and when the price breaks down below 0.07, that's already a confirmation that it's more likely for the price to kiss the previous support at 0.06. So this is your defense line. This is your defense area, 0.07. Okay. If it breaks down below, again, if it breaks down below 0.07, it will just increase the probability, the strength of the bears, so to say. Okay, that's what I mean. All right. So now let's check the volume that got the biggest, the range that got the biggest volume. So today it closed today at 0.075. And the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades is between 0.075 all the way to 0.079. It got sandwiched between the intraday high and the intraday low, actually, that range. Okay. My recommendation, before my recommendation, my overall sentiment on BHI is bearish. My recommendation is that you watch out for 0.07, especially if it's still going to be a red candlestick tomorrow. If it breaks down below 0.07, don't rush yet. Wait for it to hit 0.06. So there you go for BHI. So lastly, we have nickel. I think I have not discussed nickel yet since we started these top 5 gainers, and I am right. Nickel Asia Corporation. Does it have some dividend announcements? Here you go. Yes, it does. March 25, 2019. It's going to issue 0.7 centavo cash dividend per share. Okay, here's how it goes. Remember, I'm going to give you the on, before, and after scenarios, whether you are a buyer or you're a seller. Let's begin. For buyers first. If you're going to buy nickel before March 25, all of those shares, let's say if you buy nickel before March 25 and then you keep all of those shares until the ex-dividend date, then those are entitled for the 7 centavo cash dividend. However, if you will buy on the exact ex-dividend date or after, then those shares are no longer entitled to receive the cash dividend. They are disqualified. Now let's move on to the seller's story. If you will sell, let's say you have nickel. If you will sell nickel before March 25, those nickel shares are disqualified for the dividend. On the other hand, if you will sell on or after March 25, those nickel shares will still be given cash dividend. Okay, I hope you get that. Now, let's talk about the chart of nickel. Nickel closed today at 2.59. Support is at 2.31. Resistance is at 3.06. Although nickel is still moving in the bullish channel, since it's still above the 200-day SMA, it's already bearish in the short-term to mid-term channels, since it's already below the 10 SMA and then the 50 moving averages. Okay, so let's draw a channel here. Let me so there's really there's a there's a possibility here now. By the looks of this channel that I've drawn here, there's a possibility for nickel to respect the support at this level. This is the intersection between the 50 SMA and the 200-day SMA, and that's 2.53. So watch out for that. This is another defense. This is another defensive mechanism for nickel before it hits the major support at 2.31. In English, let me explain that in English. If and when nickel drops below 2.53, that will just increase the strength of the bears to pierce, to break down below 2.31, or at least to revisit that level. But for as long as the price is above 2.53, then there's a possibility for nickel to bounce away from this level. Okay? Remember, today's volume is not that high, although it's already above its 10-day volume average. When you zoom it out, well, relatively speaking, it's not that outstanding. Okay, so that's why there's still a percentage of chance for the price to rebound at 2.53. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. It's a Friday again. Okay. So the net foreign trade for 2019 year to date is net foreign buying on nickel. MACD remains bearish. Of course, that's what you will expect, since nickel has continuously shown red candlesticks for more than a week already. Risk level wise, nickel has a volatility score of 30%, and that gives it a low risk level. Now let's move on to the volume review. Remember, nickel closed today at 2.59, and it registered a net foreign selling worth 1.3 million pesos. Now, the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades is between 2.55 to 2.60. I repeat, 2.55 to 2.60. Okay. Remember also that 2.59, its closing price, is closer to its intraday low than to its intraday high. And that's another point for the bears. So there's still there's really a possibility for the price to touch the 2.53 line tomorrow. Okay. My overall sentiment on nickel is neutral to bearish. Why not completely bearish? Why there's a neutral part in my overall sentiment? Again, it's because of the possibility for the price to bounce away from the 2.53 to 2.50 level. Okay? So these are the probabilities. Remember, I'm not talking about certainties or guarantees here. This is a game of probabilities. Okay? Now you appreciate why they thought probabilities and statistics in college or even in high school. Now we see the application of that. Okay. Anyway, my overall sentiment is neutral to bearish, and my recommendation is to wait for the price to inch closer to 2.53, maybe 2.50 to 2.53. And if it breaks down below that line with strong bearish volume, then you adjust your expectation to 2.31. All right. Now, if you see that the selling appetite diminishes or weakens once it hits 2.50 to 2.53, and you think that there's an increasing demand for for a reversal of sentiment, then you may want then to consider doing a test buy so that you can just trade the range between 2.50 to 3.06. But if you are, of course, you are a subscriber, that's why you can access this video. I would suggest that you post a new request in our private clients forum for my latest analysis, if and when those probabilities happen, okay? If and when they happen. Alright, so you've heard from me my technical analysis, overall sentiment, and recommended plans of actions for green, SECB, MEG, SEC, DMC, FB, FGEN, MWC, BHI, and NIKL. Alright, so there you go for today's top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for Thursday, March 14, 2019. My name is JC De Guzman, and have a great day. Thank you.